Hey, Dave here from Fix and Fly RC. Hey, another little quick video on AS3X and SAFE receivers by Spectrum. When I first started flying, this is just a AR631 6-channel receiver. This was pretty enticing technology that was available. And if you're not familiar with AS3X or now AS3X Plus and SAFE receivers, basically the AS3X is just an onboard gyro that will help stabilize the plane with some wind gusts. So if it's flying along and and the wind's hitting it, it'll keep it adjusted. But better than that is the SAFE feature. So the SAFE feature is an ability to correct the plane if you're flying out of SAFE, and a lot of things can happen. You can get disoriented. The plane can, especially if it gets some distance away, sometimes you don't know if it's coming or going upside down or right side up. So maybe you've gotten disoriented. Maybe you're trying out a new maneuver or something like that, and it's not going well. And the plane looks like it's going to crash, or you could be looking up in the sun. One of the areas we fly, if you fly in the afternoon, we're looking toward the west a lot, and so it's really easy to get the sun in your eyes. So you might fly through the sun and get disoriented. Or here in the South, especially during the summer, bugs are pretty prevalent, so you could get mosquito or a bug, in your face or something like that. And or maybe you've been doing something and you just need a break for a second, and you just want to be able to fly with your hands off just for a second to do whatever. So what the SAFE feature does is, if you're will correct your plane and put it upright for you, basically. So if you're in a dive or turned or upside down or whatever, it'll right the plane up and fly it level, basically hands off. And so that's a great feature, in my opinion. Will save a lot of airplanes, or for me, has saved a lot of airplanes. Now, for the most part, people are okay with this. You get on any of the Facebook websites, Motion RC or FMS, or any of these other RC group channels or whatever. And people start talking about the SAFE features. People either like them or hate them, quite honestly. A lot of, I would say, the old school flyers will say that, you need to learn how to fly the plane, and that's effectively cheating. And my kind of thought is this technology has evolved. Why not use technology, right? Yeah, people learn how to fly early on without them. And but it's just like your automobile, right? Early cars, obviously. I mean, I learned how to drive in a car where there was a 3-speed on the column, power nothing, no air conditioner, and as time has gone on, we got disc brake, anti-lock brakes, we got cruise controls, and we got airbags, and now the cars are coming with all these driving features. And so you have all these new technology, and the question is, why not use it, right? What's wrong with using it? So my advice, and again, it's just my opinion, and there's a lot of heated debates over this. If you're early at flying and getting into this, and you don't want to get discouraged, this is a great feature. So I'd encourage you using it. There are other opportunities. You can buddy box with somebody, where you can have a box, somebody else with another controller beside you, and they're connected to yours either through a wire or through the Wi-Fi. And if you get out of whack or whatever, they can take over the plane. But in all intents and purposes, all that is a SAFE feature, except for now it's man in the loop instead of a electronic device. So you're still doing the same basic thing. Somebody's saving your plane for you, whether it's the electronic device. So think about it. Again, people love Spectrum. Some people say they're junk. A lot of people love it. For me, even that I fly out of SAFE most of the time now, or try to, I'll still buy these, because you just never know when you're going to get in a position where you may need it for whatever reason that may save a plane, and especially when you start going up in really high value planes. Now, I will say, like anything else, you got to know how to program them. You gotta make sure that it's working correctly, because if you don't program it correctly, if you don't check your control surfaces that they're moving in the right directions, then it can cause bad things to happen. So one of the things I've always done now is when I set up a plane, I always have one of my functions that has no SAFE and no AS3X. So it's just the control surfaces moving in the right directions, because if you check that, so if the plane really does start doing something crazy, unplanned, like, you know, it's trying to turn right and you're telling it to turn left, then you can throw it up in that function, and you can fly the plane. Now, you know, always would encourage people to, you know, as you get more comfortable, get out of SAFE more and more and more, learn how to fly the plane without it. So if something does happen, you can take control of your plane and get it down safely. And then lastly on this, you know, I mentioned about checking control surfaces. So when you set up your SAFE, you know, you want to rotate your wings, you know, back and forth, and make sure the surfaces are going in the right direction, so it'll correct itself correctly. And then the one other thing that always, and this is the kind of the lessons learned, learning things by yourself early on flying. You know, I built a plane from the company just left me, but it's one that you can, you know, buy the kits and build them up. It's a great. There was a lot of fun to build your own plane. Did take about a day or two, and flying it was a Spitfire. Flew great, hand launched plane, but you know, a lot of the servos and stuff, you know, they're Chinese made, and a lot of them are pretty low end. And so I had a servo in my elevator go out, and so I went and you know, bought another one, put it in. It wasn't the same brand, and it was, when I was controlling it, it was going in the wrong direction. So you know, like in the Spectrum radios, you can go in there and you can reverse the servo. So sitting on the ground, I had all the surfaces, you know, reverse the servo, had all the surfaces going the right way. Early on, I didn't know. I assumed when I changed the servo, the reverse the servo in my controller, that fixed, you know, everything else was fixed. I didn't know at the time. Actually, when you're doing that, you're actually programming your receiver. And so when I changed the direction of my servo, I didn't reprogram the receiver. So I took off, and the plane was fighting me. You know, I was trying to go level, and it was trying to take it up, and it got real crazy, and finally just nosedive in. And went on Facebook, and, you know, I said, hey, you know, I don't know what's going on, what happened, and, you know, I'll talk about this then, but, you know, most of the people come on and say, well, hey, did you reprogram your servo? And I was like, no, I didn't know I had to. And then you get kind of the smart Alex, you know, that want to get out there and pretend like, you know, they weren't new at this. And it's like, well, any idiot should know that. So anyway, I had to go in and, you know, once I fixed the plane actually, but once I went in there and fixed the receiver, it was fine. The Spectrum controllers now have a relearn feature where you can just go in there and just say relearn, and it remembers all the stuff in your radio. So anyway, just a few thoughts on the AS3X receivers. You know, they come in a lot of different, you know, you can get the ones without SAFE or anything. They're like $40, you know. I think the 6 channels AS3X SAFEs, they may be $60 now, $80. I think I did an 8 channel for another plane I just got, and it was $100 and something bucks. So, but anyway, for me, taking my plane home in one piece, if that's shameful, I'll go home with my head, you know, held low, but my plane in one piece, instead of in a garbage bag in pieces, you know, going like, well, at least I didn't fly in SAFE. But anyway, hope it does something for you. Be encouraged. Happy flying.